Hey everybody, welcome back to John Wayne Airport. I'm Bill, and this is my friend Emmy.
Hi.
Emmy, and then there's Mike over here. Don't worry about Mike. We'll talk about him later. But Emmy is an amazing person. She's a extremely accomplished pilot. We're not going to go into the details right now because we're really hungry. I haven't had breakfast. We were supposed to go to a breakfast with the LA 99s, but circumstances got in the way and that got canceled. So instead, we're gonna go find someplace in Southern California to get breakfast. Just so rude.
So rude.
So among other things, Emmy is a 777 pilot, and Mike is a 747 pilot. So that's 30 worse. So we really don't really care about that. So we've got the Cardinal all pre-flighted, ready to go, and I think we're gonna go to Flay Bob. They've got gigantic breakfast burritos, and Emmy's gonna fly a Cardinal for the first time?
Second time.
Second time. When was the first time? Recent enough to matter?
Recent enough to matter.
Okay, cool, all right.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll, Emmy's gonna fly to Flay Bob, and we'll see how close she can get to the mountain.
And what is my tail number? There we go. John Wayne clearance, Cardinal 34835 at J's. I request VFR flight following to Flay Bob 3500 El Toro departure.
Cardinal 34835 on departure, turn left heading 080, maintain VFR at or below 3000, departure frequency 124.1, squawk 0256.
On departure, turn left heading 080, maintain VFR at or below 3000, departure 124.1, squawk 0256, Cardinal 34835.
Cardinal 835, read back, correct, contact ground when you're ready, good day.
Roger, good day.
Ground's up.
Sweet. Is it still morning? Yeah. Ground, good morning, Cardinal 34835, J's with uniform ready to taxi.
Cardinal 34835, John Wayne ground, taxi tower run up via Bravo.
Tower run up via Bravo, Cardinal 34835, which is that way.
Yeah.
That's like it should be that way.
Yep. Tower run up. Right by the tower. Lobby bar. Right in the lobby.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Lobby bar. Right in the lobby.
Okay, so briefing.
Okay, so briefing. So, just kind of talking about airplane situation. So this is my second flight in a Cardinal. It's been about 6 weeks since I last flew a Cardinal. It was this one with Steve. I only did, familiar with the airplane enough to be comfortable flying it, of course, but because you're way more current in the airplane, definitely will rely on you and kind of talk back, make sure, open cockpit, I don't have an ego, all that stuff. So, yep, so definitely open to learning and all that. So, a beautiful day today. It's winds are fairly calm, pretty much straight down the runway, less than 8 knots, so it's pretty negligible. The windsock's fairly calm. What's a good rotate speed airplane?
When it starts flying.
Okay, cool. And good climb rate about 80, 85, 90, that kind of range?
I climb faster.
Okay.
So I climb at 100 miles per hour.
Perfect, I can do that.
Yeah.
So we'll plan on rotating when it's ready. So what,
Yeah.
70, 75 or so, climb at 100. If we have any issues with the airplane, we can just make the 180 and land on either 2 right, or if we can make it, we can land on 20 left. Obstacles on departure, we've got the, we've got Irvine, or we've got, where are we? Costa Mesa to the south. We got some trees, and we've got the highway at the end of the runway there. But within the airport environment, we have enough we can kind of work with.
Yep.
Safe altitude, we'll call 800 feet, just with all of the terrain and all the buildings around us to get back in. Otherwise, if it's a normal departure, we'll make that left turn heading 030 VFR below 3000 and head away.
080.
Sorry, 080 at or below, or VFR below 3000,
Yep.
and then, yep, that's what I meant. Any questions, anything you got? No?
Yep, we're
Okay,
good.
cool. Awesome, all right.
That was thorough as hell.
Ground Cardinal 34835, tower run up complete.
Cardinal 835, runway 20 right, taxi via Bravo Kilo.
Bravo Kilo to 20 right, Cardinal 34835. Ooh, I almost said Connie. It's just close enough to Cardinal. Okay.
Not too many people make that mistake. See ya, dudes.
Like, you can tell I went to a 141 school at one point in my life. Because the same briefing style is still stuck in my head.
Yeah.
And we do a completely different briefing style. Obviously at work, so. And clear for takeoff, 20 left kilo, Cardinal at 34835.
20 left at kilo, clear for takeoff.
20 left at kilo, clear for takeoff, Cardinal 34835. Okay, here we go.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Airspeed's alive.
Cessna 7
Engine spin screen.
To the left, clear to land.
And then prop to just until it hits green. Hit that offset now too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, they want like as soon as you are past the
Cherokee 607
departure
for
end
the
to turn.
parallel runway on Phenom. Final is a Phenom, caution wake turbulence space turn. It's approved at your discretion. Runway to the left.
I have that traffic in the downwind sight.
Cessna short final.
From like comparing it to a 172, it's a little busier on takeoff.
That's okay.
But like that's it.
And I knew that I was gonna like keep the flaps in until we were in the turn anyway, just because we were over stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I want that climb rate, so.
Yep. Okay, so we're kind of in cruise-ish, right?
Kind of in cruise-ish, yep.
Yeah, okay.
There's 3,500, lean, oh,
Okay.
had it leaned out to about 1410.
Yep. Cow flaps, you can close those suckers.
31, John Wayne Airport, set your 10 o'clock and 16 miles.
All right, so it's a little bumpy.
It's okay.
So if we need to focus on not throwing up, we can change the topic or finish it when we land. Your CV is hilarious.
3,000. Verify information.
So correct any of this if it's wrong. Humans factor engineer.
Yep.
At
Garmin.
Never heard of it. That's insane in itself. If I met anyone that was like, I'm a humans factor engineer or was a humans factor engineer at Garmin, I'd be like, that's the coolest thing ever. But you didn't stop at humans factor engineer at Garmin.
Correct.
You decided to pursue flying. Now, were you flying at that time?
Yeah, so when I was in college, I simultaneously was getting my degree in human factors engineering, but I also got my flight ratings as well. I went into college with my private, but I got my instrument commercial and multi while I was in college.
Okay.
And then post school, I did my CFI, my double I.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to stay in the airplane.
So you just kept building hours.
Correct.
CFI, ATP.
Well, I didn't get my ATP for a long time. I actually built most of my hours flying fixed wing air ambulance, which is what brought me to California in the first place.
Okay. Fixed wing air ambulance.
Yes.
Negative, that was for XZ 3.
That's awesome. And what aircraft was that?
The LR Jet series, so Lear 35s, 55s, and 31s.
Okay. Those are kind of tricky to fly, maybe a little bit?
They're known for having a super critical wing, so it's just a little bit, I guess for lack of a better term, I guess a little bit more volatile of a wing. You just have to know the airplane and be cautious, especially at slow speeds.
Cool. So, is that medevac?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so medevac. Then you went into the charter world.
Yes.
And that was
That's A31.
good, bad, and different?
It was great. No,
Yeah.
it was experience I needed because...
Traffic 1 o'clock, 2 miles. Obstruction, altitude indicates 2,700.
Looking for traffic, 835.
That is probably going to be a
Just
helicopter.
maintain 5,200.
Okay, and they're
November 1 Mike 0, maintain 150 knots.
at least 100 feet below us, but looking, yeah, kind of in that direction probably would be a helicopter.
Yeah. That would be a weird spot for
An airplane.
airplane to be. But people do weird things. Okay, so charter world,
2 o'clock, 3 miles.
variety, fast pace,
Yes.
different airframes. What planes did you fly?
So I flew the CE 500, so like the Encore, the Ultra, and I think I did fly a 5, the Citation XL, and the Citation 10.
Yes, you did. So, between you and Mike, who has flown faster?
I think we've flown. I know we've both flown 9.2 because the airplane just does it so well and so easily. So I think
aircraft in 135.4, change to my frequency.
that we've both flown the same speed. But I mean, with him being on the 7.4, the 7.4 can also do 9.2, so there might, I don't know if he's done that.
Yeah, what a beast. So now,
512 Tango Tango.
you are flying a freaking 777.
Yeah.
God, that is so cool. It is
835 traffic, 12 o'clock, 2 miles southeast on 2,500 indicated type unknown.
Looking, Cardinal 835.
But yeah, the 747 is obviously one of the most iconic aircraft in the world.
Yes.
But it looks like the 747. The 777 looks like a 737 or really every other twin engine commercial jet, just huge. And you don't realize how big it is until it's next to a 737. That's a big gal.
You don't think about it until, like, I notice it the most when I'm pre-flighting, like walking around the engines. When you think about, like, the fuselage of a 7.3 fits within the engine.
Yeah, that's so wild.
You just kind of, you just don't think about it.
So does the 777 feel, or does the 10 feel bigger than the 777 then with that raked wing on landing? Like, does it feel a little bit more cumbersome at landing speed?
Honestly, because of the fly-by-wire nature of the triple, it's very sensitive. So when I started flying the 10, one of the things Mike told me was like, anybody can fly a 10, but it's hard to fly it well. And I think that's a true statement. And I think it could even be applied to the triple as well, just because it is fly-by-wire. And it is so sensitive. But again, I'm still super new, so I'm still, you know, I'm still getting comfortable in the airplane myself. I mean, I've done, you know, lots of segments, but you know, it still takes a while to get used to the airplane.
Yeah.
So.
Again, just like John Wayne, it's a lower pattern, so you don't want to be too far away.
Correct.
Which is what makes that mountain more in play.
Play Bob, traffic Cardinal 34835 is on a 3 mile 45 left downwind runway 24, Play Bob.
All right, let's go to flip around cam so we can see this craziness. Yeah, and it really just is like, you just fly as close to that as you can. It's wild, isn't it?
All right.
So you're about midfield right now.
Yep, I got flaps 10 out to help me out.
Playbox traffic, Grumman Kika Lima, taking 24, left downwind departure, Playbox.
Okay, so that guy is on the roll, he's in sight. And then, yeah, so it gives you, it's like, do you want to have a shorter final or be closer to the mountain? Is really the decision. Okay, so he's on the roll.
Not really.
I want some more flaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Play Bob traffic, Cardinal 835, short final 24, play Bob.
Sorry, I'm not.
Yep, good. Nice. A little bit left crosswind, but good.
Correcting.
You want full?
Yeah.
Okay, full flaps.
There we go.
Nice. That's sporty, isn't it?
That is sporty.
That's a fun approach. Yes.
I was like, my brain was like so focused on flying, and thank you for saying something about the flaps, because I thought I had docked them and I hadn't, so thank you. Like I said, there's no ego in the airplane.
Playbox traffic, Grumman Kika Lima.
And I'll just take this exit here.
Departing the east, Playbox.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
And especially because there's a really, really good restaurant here, like a super cute diner. It just makes this a short flight, but it's not short and boring.
Yeah.
And you get rewarded.
It's exciting right up until the very end.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, look at that mountain. There's just a mountain on final. All right, let's park this thing and get some breakfast.
All right, where's the
Just
best?
keep going straight.
Just keep going. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, so we're at Flay Bob. I've had some coffee. Emmy ate a burrito the size of her forearm.
Literally.
No joke. I love this airport. It's super cute. And we talked about a few of this stuff up in the air. And I want to just ask you a little bit more about your experience as we kind of candidly caught you talking about B-25 type.
Yeah.
So the quick progression again is human factors engineer at Garmin. Did that after you graduated from college.
Yes.
So you had your private instrument and commercial at that point.
And my multi, yeah.
And your multi. Then you wanted to fly more, be more in the cockpit. So you did medevac and then charter flying and various citations. Now you're at a large cargo air carrier. Is that kind of the best way to describe it?
Yeah.
Flying 777s. Okay. What are the variety of types that you're type rated in?
Okay, so I guess the full list. So I got a Lear 45 type, the LR Jets, CE500, CE560XL, CE750, 777. I've got SAC types in the B25 and the N265, which is the Saberliner.
Oh, you Saberliner too?
Just an SIC. It's just an
Don't say just an SIC.
I was very fortunate. I was given an opportunity to fly the airplane and got some bounces in it. So
6165.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I can. Not that changes the impressiveness of it at all, but okay. So it's
that was bounces. I didn't go to school for that.
Okay, got it. Okay, so that makes sense.
I mean, did the ground school for that,
school,
but not like the formal.
Didn't do the sim and all that kind of stuff. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So freaking cool. So freaking cool. Okay, so the purpose of us going on this flight today, as we mentioned, was to visit with the LA-99s, which is I was actually kind of interested in knowing what that is.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I know it's a group of women aviators, but why do they exist?
So the 99s organization as a whole originally started in 1929. It was kind of an end result of the first Women's Air Derby. So pretty much, as the name suggests, 99 lady pilots in 1929 got together and formed this sisterhood, this organization that's really dedicated to encouraging and promoting women in aviation, and it provides scholarships and mentorship and so many of these programs to help women that are interested in pursuing aviation, whether it's more specifically flying. But it just provides an opportunity for women to get together, and it's just sisterhood of women pilots all around the world. So I forget exactly the total number of membership, but it's in the thousands, and we've got chapters internationally in many, many countries. So it's not just local to the U.S., it's also international.
So if you haven't noticed, Emmy is a woman and is a pilot. How has that, or how has it not, played into your career? Like, do you feel like it played a part?
So for me, I always wanted to be a pilot. So I was very fortunate that I had a support system growing up and into my adulthood that really helped me foster my dream of becoming a pilot into reality. So I was very, very fortunate to have that support system. Of course, everybody faces some level of either setback or some sort of issues that may be related to that. Of course, over the years, you get comments, you get people look at you funny. They're like, "Are you sure that you can do this?" I got that comment a lot when I was flying charters. Like, it was either, "Are you old enough to fly it?"
Yeah.
Or, "Can you really fly it?" It's like, yeah. But alternatively, I also got a lot of excitement because, I think the percentage now is about 6% of women are ATP or pilots. I think ATPs is about 4.2%, and you just don't see that many of them. So I was very fortunate. Yeah, and I was very fortunate that I had such support, from my family, from my friends, and then now through the 99s. My experience is unique to me. So other people have different experiences, but for me, I've been
very fortunate that it hasn't necessarily been a factor other than just comments.
Anecdotal stuff.
Yeah, anecdotal stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, Q probably got more shit than you ever did, because he looks like he's 11. Like, how did he even drive to the airport, let alone fly the jet? And you mean, you look equally as young, too, but that is kind of a weird thing about charter. The charter world is, like, is young people doing that job a lot, you know?
That, and now that I'm even thinking about it, like, when I flew air ambulance, there was always a huge assumption that, you know, oh, you must be the nurse, right?
Oh,
and, And that happens.
Yeah,
it happens. Hey, and you know what? Like, that's fine. Like, you know, it gave me an opportunity to not correct, but just be like, no, I'm a pilot. I'm a first officer. And I mean, I get it. Like, we were in like polos and like slacks, so it's like we didn't look the typical. Yeah, we didn't look the typical pilot, you know, look per se, but things like that. But you know, that's, I don't consider that an insult by any means, because it's like I can't do the job of a nurse like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the way the human brain works is just pattern recognition. So if, like, I have a male friend who's a nurse, and like he gets it the same, because there are statistically more women nurses than there are men. So it's like, you know, they ask. Same with pilots. It's really, you know, like we've been talking about all during breakfast, that whole relationship, and it's like if you can eye roll at some of the comments and just kind of laugh it off, it's like it's just doesn't really affect you.
Not for me. Yeah, it didn't really. Yeah, I guess it really is. You know, you just shrug your shoulders. Some people say things, and you just kind of move on, because I'm a pilot. I'm just going to keep doing me.
Yeah.
So.
And a really, really good pilot. Like, and not that I am surprised in any way, but like until you fly with someone, you don't you don't know the nuances of.
Oh, totally.
You know, like, obviously you're not where you're at because you've just skated by. You're a very good pilot, but like you are a really good pilot.
I appreciate that.
And handled so we had the choice for breakfast. It was the places that have good breakfast. Fullerton, 8-mile flight, like stupid short, but really good restaurant. Flaybob, equally good restaurant, a little bit longer, but there's a freaking mountain right in the downwind. So in your like second or third flight in this Cardinal, I'm kind of like helping you a little bit, act as like the, you know, so there's a little bit of a, you know, when does it like to have flaps in, where you put this, all that kind of stuff. To throw a mountain in the downwind, you handled the whole thing like, you know, and speak to a little bit too, the difference, like what you were describing when we were eating, how tricky VFR flying here can be, even when you're used to flying a lot, but in a very different environment.
So what we were talking about earlier for me, so in my job, I fly IFR all the time. My previous job, we had a handful of approved VFR routes. So I was super good at going VFR from Van Nuys to John Wayne, or VFR from Carlsbad to John Wayne. I knew how to do it like the back of my hand. But you know, it's a big airplane. It's faster. I was more comfortable in it just because I was doing it so often. But now that I'm flying an airplane significantly bigger, going into bigger airports, I haven't landed in John Wayne, you know, except for, you know, flying the Cardinal previously. I guess the Yak too, but it's been a minute. And so for me, it's like VFR flying. I won't use the word daunting, it's different enough to where I feel like I need to prepare as much for a VFR flight as I do like my international flights. Like this morning I had my notepad and my pen ready to go for making like a yoke card and everything.
For this morning?
For this flight that I left at home, so it's no big deal. But for me, because, well, I just want to make sure that I am as prepared as I can be for the flight, and just because I'm not doing it as regularly as I used to, or as regularly as I do IFR, I definitely felt like I needed to make sure I was reviewing and on top of everything before I showed up. So.
Yeah, that's funny. And it's like, for me, I'm on like the far other end of the spectrum in terms of experience, where like I have flown, you know, like a handful of planes, and they're all pretty much the same. So you were so prepared. And I'm thinking, am I doing something wrong because I'm not, like, I didn't prepare at all, except for like the normal thing?
No.
But it really is interesting that because I am more current doing this flight, I'm like, what do you mean, like, you have a, you flight planned? Like, we're going to Flight Bob. You follow the 91, and like, it's right there.
It's very interesting because I even had, like, on my iPad, when we were originally going to Hemet, I had like waypoints to like make sure that, like, as a reference point to stay outside of airspace in case altitude became an issue, like if we were climbing higher because of turbulence or whatever. Like, I was like, I had it all, like, and it does seem kind of funny, like, after the fact. It's like, yeah, like, okay, that was a little bit of overkill, but at the same time, like, I also felt like, yeah, it was going to be, no problem now that I had thought through the whole everything as much as I could.
That's really fun. Yeah, like on any return trip that I do to John Wayne, the iPad never comes out. Yeah. Because I know, like, I'm departing with the frequencies ready to go, and then after that I'm either being switched by ATC en route, and then John Wayne, I just have everything memorized. So it's just
so you know the procedures and what they'll tell you to do. And
don't have to even look at it.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Okay, so two final questions.
Yes, of course.
The first final question is, if someone is watching this that also happens to be a female and is interested in aviation, what do you think what's the next step for them?
So anytime anybody asks, okay, hey, I don't know much about flying, but I'm interested, I always encourage a discovery flight. That's the easiest way to find out if that really piques your interest, you really want to be a pilot, or maybe there are just other facets of aviation that may interest you more. So a discovery flight's a super easy way to just literally hop in the airplane and go for a flight. As a woman, joining the 99s is also a great opportunity to talk to other women that so many different experience levels. The San Diego chapter specifically is the largest chapter in the United States. Actually, it might be the largest chapter in the whole organization. We've got 186 members. Jeez. And a lot of them are student pilots, which is so That's awesome. Cool. So we've got a super active student pilot group that can, encourage and talk you through the whole process. But there's also pilots like me and way more experienced than I am that are also in the organization that help, mentor me and my career, and they can help mentor new pilots. But if flying doesn't necessarily seem to be the direction someone may be interested in, but still interested in aviation, the Women in Aviation organization, WAI International, is another organization, and that is really for anybody with any interest in any part of aviation. So mechanics and detailers and engineers and air traffic controllers. Anything, that's a really easy way to just make connections.
Would you recommend for the discovery flight a woman CFI, trying to get a woman CFI, or is it better to not do that and just have it happen organically? That's
a super interesting question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that. So for me, it would be cool, but for me, I would go to my local flight school and just see what's available, and just that would be like an added bonus, like the cherry and sprinkles on top of something that'd be really cool. Yeah. Definitely not required, but it would be super awesome if that's a possibility. Yeah. I don't see a reason why you couldn't ask. Why not? But for me, if you're really just focused on figuring out if flying is a thing for you, just go find someone that'll take you flying a CFI and just go fly.
Fly. Doesn't matter with who or where or in what, just go fly.
Because that's why we all do it, right? We do it for the airplanes, and we do it for the experience.
Okay, so the final question is, what is next for you? Not that there's a shortage of things to do in aviation,
but that's what's fun.
But you've done a lot of it already. So what possibly is left?
So for me, I just finished IOV on the triple, so I'm going to stick with the triple for a while. I would love the opportunity to continue building the international wide body experience. That was kind of next on my to-do list. So I'd like to stick around and hopefully upgrade in the next couple of years at a company I'm currently with. And after that, I would...
What's 72 just... That is just going to feel that.
It's been there.
Yeah.
It's been there.
Found it.
Okay, I'll track it. Okay.
Leaving all of that in.
Yeah, it's perfect. So next step for me, just finished IOV on the triple. So I really want to stick with it and build the international, build the heavy jet experience, because for me that was really the next step. The upgrade times at my current company are a couple years, so I would love the opportunity to be able to upgrade on the triple. And even if time and seniority allows it, I'd love to also fly the 7.4 that our company also has.
Even though it's 30 worse.
Even though it's 30 worse, it's 2 engines more. So it's like, I just gotta do it. It's the queen, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably the next step. But the whole reason I even came to this company to fly the triple, and you can tell by my obvious NASA shirt. So long-term goal is to have an opportunity to fly for NASA's research team, their research flying team. They're stationed at various NASA locations, and if you're familiar with Sophia, the 7.4, the 7.4 SP that they retired last year, they're slowly working on a 777 in their Virginia location, in their Langley location. I don't know off the top of my head what the specific mission of the airplane will be, but they are working on it, and they're working on integrating it with all of their different science materials that they've got. And
so will it have an onboard telescope as well?
I'm not sure. So I've heard back and forth that it'll either do Sophia's job or the DC-8's job. I'm not sure. So I think it also may be just a modular, so you can just do stuff.
It's just funny that you say because you've told me that before, that you wanted to fly for NASA, and my reaction was the same then. That is so freaking cool. The NASA shirt, I mean, you could have got that at Urban Outfitters, I've got NASA crap too, where it's vintage rocket things shooting off, but you're literally going to, that's no doubt in my mind, you're going to be flying for NASA at some point.
I'm hoping to. So
so cool.
A lot of my focus, so I
such a nerd.
I know, but I love it.
This is the best.
Well, and the thing too is and a lot of people think that it's a little crazy, and that's fine. They're welcome to think that.
They think it's crazy to fly for NASA?
Well, to have that as the goal, right? Because that's a little far-fetched for a lot of people. But for me, it's I don't want to live a career of regrets. So I'm trying to set myself up that every step that I'm doing, I enjoy, and it's leading me down a path where that can become more of a possibility.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of ignorant to it. Is flying for NASA any harder than getting a captain job at United?
So, great question. So, my understanding is that traditionally, a lot of NASA pilots on the civilian side have some sort of military background.
Yeah,
but
okay.
There are 2 fabulous female NASA pilots that I've spoken to at different conferences, and both of them were very encouraging, saying that times are changing, and don't let that traditional standard or lack of military experience hold me back, because it may not be required if you come in with the right experience and the right knowledge. So I'm going with it, I'm just going to set myself up for as much of a diverse and experienced background as I can, and work on schooling and stuff too, and just set myself up for as good as I can. And if down the line, if it doesn't work out, I can at least say that I tried, and I would much rather have that as a personal goal than to just not even try.
That's super cool. Not just because I'm watching For All Mankind and just binge watching that, but would you want to go to space?
I'd love to.
Yeah?
I would love to, but I also, it's one of those things where it's I think the flying is a little bit more easily attainable with my background, but that's a foot in the door that could cascade into other directions. So the first goal is really just getting the foot in the door, even if it's just making connections and networking.
Yeah.
And that's what I did last year at the Women in Aviation conference in Long Beach, and at that conference is where I decided, I was I gotta go find a 777 job, and so I did.
That's so cool. Oh man, awesome. Okay, Emmy, thank you. If anyone wants to follow Emmy, links will be in the description. And we'll have to do this again, because I want to get the LA99s involved and see a little bit more what that's like. But
of course.
Thanks. All right, let's go. Let's go fly home.
All right.